Hello everyone, my name is Grahan Atipiasa and today I'm gonna solve my problem in translation midterm test. So this is my first problem here. Sentence 1. Beberapa guru tidak terlalu memperhatikan hal itu karena mereka merasa sudah cukup berpengalaman. This is a dynamic equivalence. And the reason here is the past tense in my translation did not pay implies a one-time or completed action. But the Indonesian use a present habitual structure, tidak terlalu memperhatikan, to describe a persistent cultural pattern among teachers. Baker emphasized that equivalence must capture the temporal and social reality of the source, not just grammatical form. This is my attempt here. Some teachers do not pay much attention to this because they feel they have enough experience. Present tense to reflect ongoing behavior. Next is my second problem here. There is guru tetap memakai metode ceramah yang sama sehingga siswa merasa bosan dan guru tetap melanjutkan metode itu karena merasa cara itu sudah menjadi jalan hidupnya. This is a cultural equivalence. The reason here is jalan hidupnya, literally their way of life, is a colloquial Indonesian idiom implying routine, habit, or personal comfort, not a deep existential philosophy. The translation way of life over ethics and import Western individualist connotations, distorting the pragmatic tone. Becker once again imposing target cultural ideological framing. There is my attempt. Teachers keep using the same lecture method because they see it as just how they've always done things. It's preserved colloquial, non-philosophical term. Here is my third problem. Guru yang muda juga lebih akrab dengan siswa dibandingkan para guru yang tua. This is a pragmatic equivalence. The reason here is lebih akrab implies emotional closeness, trust, and rapport, not just familiarity. My translation, more familiar with student, is too natural and miss the relational intimacy central to critique of general disconnect. Baker insists equivalence must reflect the social function of language. There's my attempt. Younger teacher also build a stronger rapport with student than older ones, captures the affective dimension. And there is my fourth problem. Mereka berpikir teknologi hanya untuk bermain media sosial. This is ethical equivalence. The reason here is bermain media sosial or playing on media social reduce technology to tribal entertainment, reflecting stereotypical dismissive attitude held by older teachers. The translation reproduces this bias without critique. Baker argues translation must expose or challenge ideological bias, not replicate it uncritically. And there's my attempt. They think technology is only for scrolling through social media. Scrolling implies passive, mindless use. Preserve the teacher dismissive framing while subtly critiquing it. This is my fifth problem. Masalahnya seperti bola salju yang terus membesar. This is a functional equivalence because the snowball metaphor is added in the translation. The original is literal. The problem is like a snowball growing larger. While the metaphor works in English, Baker cautioned that metaphors are culturally loaded. Here, it neutralizes a human-made systemic failure as an inevitable physical process, reducing moral accountability. My attempt, the problem keeps escalating due to mutual misunderstanding. It removes metaphor, restores agency, and systemic critique, aligns with Becker's view of translation as ethical intervention. This is my sixth problem here. Gurunya sendiri meminta siswa meniru contoh tugas tanpa perubahan apapun. This is a textual or functional equivalence. The reason here is meniru, to imitate or replicate, carries a negative connotation of blind conformity, especially in a creative context. Replicate in English is too technical and neutral. The ethical tension between preaching creativity and enforcing imitation is lost. Becker demands an equivalence that reveals contradiction in practice. Here's my attempt. They themselves ask students to copy assignment exactly as some with no room for personal expression. It reveals hypocrisy, strengthens moral critique. This is my second problem. Gurunya hanya bicara tanpa tindakan. This is an ethical equivalence because this is a direct student acquisition, but my translation presents it as an objective truth. Becker in his translation must preserve perspective. Who is saying this? Whose voice is being created? Omitting the subject erases the student agency as critics. Here's my attempt. Student feels that the teacher only taught without taking action. As student feels, preserve epistemic humility and the critic as a perception, not a fact. There's, there is my eighth problem here. Yang penting mengajar, urusan lain belakangan. This is ideological equivalence. The reason here is this is a cultural mantra of resistance to change. I renders it naturally, but in context, it's a defensive anti-evolutionary stance, a refusal to engage with pedagogical reform. Backward in this translation must expose ideological positions, not neutralize them. There's my attempt. All that matters is teaching. Everything else can wait. Use emphatic word order and tone to convey dismissiveness and ideological rigidity. Thank you.